I have a situation for you. Imagine this. It is Tuesday evening. You've just returned home after a long day at work, or you've just logged out of your work system. You're finally sitting down with your family for some quality time. You're planning to cook together or watch a movie and order in food. When your phone rings, it's your boss. She wants you to join a virtual meeting immediately. 1 hour later, you're sitting with a page full of notes. You're expected to turn around a presentation or work on a new proposal and hand it over by the next morning. Saying no is not an option. If you do that, your manager will brand you as insincere. Worse, call you a bad worker. So you cancel plans with your family and continue working. How many of you can relate to this? Many, I'm assuming. This is work life in 2022. The thin line between work and life has been blurred. Work has hijacked life. Today, an employee is expected to be available round the clock. Taking calls between meals is normal. Working post office hours is also normal. Most employees have cribbed, some have quit. Countries are now stepping in to ensure an end to this toxic culture. Belgium is the latest. It is offering workers the right to disconnect. Starting today, the 1st of February, Belgian civil servants have the right to not take office calls after work hours. They have the right to ignore work emails when out of office. They have the right to not reply to messages on work groups. What's more, managers will not be allowed to hold any of this against an employee. At least 65,000 government employees will benefit from this new law. They will get back the much-deserved work-life balance. And Belgium is not the first country to legalize the right to disconnect. In 2012, Volkswagen banned certain employees from accessing work emails after office hours. It said the move was aimed at avoiding a burnout. 5 years later, France asked employers to sit down with their employees and discuss their rights, including the right to ignore official phones. Portugal cleaned its corporate culture in the middle of the pandemic. Companies are now fined if they drop a text or send an email to an employee who has signed out for the day. Ireland too has given its citizens the right to switch off from work. Employees cannot be penalized for refusing to work in their free time or on their off days. As we speak, the European Parliament is negotiating whether or not to extend this right, the right to disconnect, to every worker. Ideally, nothing should stop them. Look around. So many employees are suffering because of overworking. So many are burnt out. In the United States, 77% professionals have experienced a burnout. 29% say long hours or working over weekends is the biggest driver for burnout. 1/3 of Indian workers are burnt out. Where is India's right to disconnect? A bill was tabled in 2019. 3 years later, we are still working on weekends and long after office hours. Technology is to be blamed for a lot of this and the existing corporate mindset for the remaining. You see, today our smartphones, our laptops and the apps on them have made it impossible for us to disconnect. Today we are attending conferences from a moving car. We're replying to work messages during dinner dates. In situations like these, how do you define what is a workspace and what is not? Also, how do you define corporate terms like out of office? You and I are never out of office. We get phone calls during vacations, and we are resigned to the fact that all of this may be normal. So how exactly are we planning to protect our personal space with the help of laws? Belgium, for example, has said it will make exceptions for emergency situations. Again, how do you define what's an emergency? I'm not making a case against the right to disconnect. If you ask me, this right is non-negotiable. Work-life balance should not be a privilege. It is a basic right. Institutional structures are welcome to step in and try to protect this right, but framing a law is just the start. For the right to disconnect to become enforceable, we need to change our work culture. We need to respect a co-worker's personal space, redefine sincerity, redefine dedication, even hard work. An employee who does not mind compromising on family time is not a poster boy. In fact, this is the very mindset that we need to change. Until then, legislations are more than welcome. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.